To install the front GT350 caliper overlays, you're going to need a microfiber towel, 91% isopropyl alcohol, a felt card, a spray bottle half filled with water, and 2 milliliters of dishwashing soap, and a heat gun with dual settings. The most important part about installing this kit is to make sure that the surface is as clean as possible. If you are going to replace the rubbing alcohol with brake cleaner fluid, take precaution with the factory Brembo logo. I recommend doing quick wipes and not dampening the towel. On the rest of the caliper, you can use brake cleaner freely. Make sure you clean all the crevices possible to ensure proper adhesion. Throughout my tutorials, you may have already noticed that I don't really use Primer 94. Primer 94 is an adhesive promoter. But for this instance, I would recommend using Primer 94 in these two locations. These are the locations where I notice the film tends to want to come off. When looking at the overlay kit, the P stands for passenger side and the D stands for driver's side. The layout is pretty straightforward. Begin by first installing the back pieces. Align the cutout to the pin. Then adjust the angle if necessary to ensure that the kit will cover that entire surface. Once you're happy with where it sits, go ahead and grab the felt card and either using the hard edge or the soft edge, begin squeezing everything out. For my install, I didn't use any adhesive promoter, and so you will see that the film has a little bit of a hard time sticking against this aggressive concave surface. If you are not using adhesive promoter, just like you see here, apply some heat to help the film mold to the shape of the caliper. After this, you'll notice that you'll have excess film towards the top right of the caliper. Go ahead and apply some heat on low setting to shrink the film, and then with the squeegee, finish pushing everything down. The last step is to grab a heat gun and on low setting, heat up all the edges to allow you to wrap them. The heat helps mold the film to the edge of the caliper, and so some areas you may notice that you may have to apply a little bit more heat to get it to sit. Now repeat the same steps on the lower back piece. Up next is the center rear piece of the caliper. This one is pretty straightforward. Just align, then apply some heat to wrap the edges. Up next is the surface around the face. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this surface one more time, just in case I left some oil residue from doing the other pieces. Then I'm gonna grab the overlay, and from top to bottom, I'm going to align this overlay around the caliper face. Do not install the overlay over the extruded surface. This will lead to potential peeling of the film. Instead, align the film to the edge of the radius. Then grab the top of this overlay and with a small stretch, apply it all the way to the top ridge. Then with a heat gun, you can begin shrinking the edges and wrapping them. While doing so, take precaution with the piece of the overlay that still hangs from the bottom. Use a felt card to seal the edge that is closest to the face. Now grab the bottom piece, and the same way that you applied a stretch on the top, apply a small stretch and pull all the way to the bottom ridge. Then apply some heat and wrap the edges. The last step is to wrap the face. Look behind the kit. If you have a dry application vinyl, apply using this method. Align the edge a little bit at a time, and with the squeegee, push the air out until you reach the bottom. If you don't like where it sits, you can lift up and reposition it. Be sure to work the air out from one end to the other to avoid trapping air bubbles. If your caliper face requires wet application, follow the steps on the caliper face tutorial found on my YouTube channel. That's it for the front calipers. Don't forget to check out the video for the rear calipers.